Hi, this is Shu with a review of the latest Peak signature shoe. It's called the Peak Flash 2. I thought when I reviewed the first one, it was called Peak Underground, as it is written on its love handle, I suppose. So that's what I stuck with. But apparently they kept moving back and forth. Sometimes it's called the Flash, and then it's called Underground. Flash would be a strange choice because Flash, is the nickname of Dwayne Wade, not Lou Williams. I guess Lou Williams will be receiving a lot of new names. Lemon Chicken Lou something. I don't know. He's a good player. He has an amazing scorer. He's got the signature jumper fadeaway shot that when he's shooting it while he's moving to the side, floating to the side. So it's not a fadeaway. It's not a fall away. Anyway, his unique move. So this is supposed to be a caricature of Lou Williams, but I completely disagree. It looks more like Zion Williamson. Lou Williams is a lot more. He always reminds me of that actor in that movie, Captain Phillips. I will not say much more than that. So the immediate first impression I got from this is good job, Peak. They did not stray too far away from the first signature design. So this is a good polish upgrade of this without completely abandoning, I guess, the Lou Williams silhouette or flavor. The Lou will touch, its own signature touch. It's very much intact, so that is good. And they've added a lot of advancements and improvements and updates and upgrades to this shoe. I dare say this is the best Peak basketball shoe ever. I hope they will prove me wrong and create even better ones, but for now, I'm loving this. It's hard to find flaws in this one. I mean, you can. I can, and I will. But it's good. First of all, I like this elf toe, elf nose, elf shoe type of little heel that sticks out. I love this. It always makes it easier for you to slide your heel into the shoe this way instead of having something like the PG4s where you kind of like tend to step on them and scrunch them a little bit. So this is always good, and I think this is the future of shoes, whatever. I mean, you see these in a lot of Nike running shoes as well, the Vomero 14s and whatnot. Keep it going. Keep it coming. This works. So that's a nice little fancy upgrade from the first one. I would call it Flash 1. Ironically, it doesn't say Flash anywhere on the shoe, but in the insoles it says Underground, so is it Peak Underground 2? Anyway, the insole is similar to the Underground 1 or the Flash 1. Relatively decent thickness. Ortholite that's pretty dense, so it's good. It's better than the flaky Ortholite you get in a lot of models these days, which is light and it's super soft, but it once it absorbs moisture and you're moving around in it, it gets shredded up and it disintegrates. So good job with the Ortholite updates for Peak. They always please us in such a way. The upper material has been updated a little bit. It feels sort of like little bits and pieces they used in the Harden 2's uppers, where they had this TPU yarn all over what seems like a breathable mesh inner layer. So it's not super breathable. It feels a little bit more breathable, a little bit more ventilated, better ventilated than the Peak Underground or the Flash 1. But first, let's get to the weight. For a size 9, the first one weighs 452 grams. The second one weighs, 470 grams. So it's about 20 grams heavier, but here's the thing. It doesn't feel that heavy. It feels like it's, slightly under 400 or something like that. So it doesn't feel like those super crazy heavy basketball shoes that we've had in some of the older models. So it is good. And even if it weighs a little bit more than some of the fancier lightweight shoes that weighs closer to 300 grams, there's a lot of pros in this shoe that overcomes or outweighs its weight. Immediately you will see the strap that I can not praised enough about when it was first implemented in the Kyrie 2s. You only need this strap because you don't want to sprain your ankle this way on your medial side. It's usually on your lateral side that you end up spraining. So you only need a fastener around this part. But this is similar to what's been implemented in the Kyrie Low and the CP311. Of course, it's better than the CP311 because the CP3 started, it was a little weird. But this is not that great either because the Kyrie 2 is the prime specimen of using this single anti-inversion strap. If you remember the Kyrie 2s, it's got a little bit of a ankle to it, ankle collar to it. So it should go from here and fasten here instead of just sagging here. So, I mean, at least it goes a little bit further up than the CP311s and the Kyrie Low too. But it is a little bit inferior to the amazing strap structure they've had in Kyrie 2. But still better than Kyrie Low and CP311. So yeah, it's a good upside. So, and also I love the translucent bits where they still let you see what's on the inside of the shoe even if you cover them up. So it feels like it's another takeaway from their design motive, which is apparently some type of sports car they would not specify. So it looks like a sports car. I mean, a car windshield or the side doors or whatnot when you're locking them. So that's nice. And this little heel structure, apparently they drew inspiration from a select sports car's spoiler or a taillight. So that's nice. Looks kind of like the visor for RoboCop as well. Instead of just having a thick plastic TPU strap or a chunk here to make sure the Tai Chi cushioning can be a little mushy, so they try to provide a little bit more security and resilience here, sturdy stability. But what they did was they added a foam layer, which is lighter than just a plastic chunk. The plastic bit is here to provide the rigidity and stability. Already the shoe has a very decent heel cup, and already the inner paddings and all that it's a little bit narrower. It hugs your Achilles heel a little bit better than the first one. As you can tell, it's a lot more open and wide and roomy. But this one, it goes from clutching your heel, it goes upward like a triangle to provide that fastening sensation. So that's good. So that's a good upgrade. Also, speaking of the strap, when you have the Velcro, the problem with Velcros is that you will end up either this part or this part will have something that's scratchy, thorny, that will stick to the laces. So what happens is when your laces are accidentally touching these straps, they end up just getting shredded. But it doesn't happen here. They did a good job of eliminating that, although I do see that happening if I continually keep using it and the little thorns get a little bit more out of place. But yeah, it's happening. But it's not as bad as conventional Velcros we've seen in the past. But I still wish they would have done something a little bit different, like having another little Velcro piece here, like they did with the Kobe ADFF. Yeah, because otherwise I just have to stick it there when I'm tying my laces, and they're always like, getting loose and getting strapped, and I have to remove them over and over again. So that's one minus. By the way, this whole piece is your canvas where you can just stick it anywhere. So that's a nice little option they provided there. And another nice little gimmick is they have this little hologram type of thing where you see the peekaboo peek. Now you see it, now you don't. Going back to the heel, it provides a little bit of a room for a cradling and the cushioning to actually cushion the impact when you're falling a little bit awkwardly. But then it has the stability or the resistance to prevent it from completely rocking to a dangerous angle. So that's good. It's an enhancement. If for those who prefer that stability or rigidity, you might actually prefer what they used in the first one. This one was a lot firmer and a lot more rigid in terms of fastening and providing that that resistance to prevent you from rolling all over the place. But that also kind of eats into the cushioning, so that negates the cushioning a little bit, but it provides additional support and stability. The Outrigger is completely continuous throughout the midsole until you reach the upper. So this Outrigger is the best Outrigger I've seen in any basketball shoe. I thought they would bring it back, but they made some alterations. They do have a nice little sharp, nice little prominent Outrigger here, as you can tell. But this single rubber is not enough, and the thing is, the midsole, because you don't have a plate that securely fastens the outsole to the side of the shoe, it's got a little bit more give, as you can tell. And even this midsole, it'll scrunch up a little bit inside, so you don't feel that rigid stoppage, but you do. But for those who like to have the freedom to be able to rock side to side a little bit more, to step, have a little spongy weight absorption to propel yourself forward, this is the way to go. For those who prefer total 90-degree angle anti-inversion stability, you would prefer something like the initial Flash one or the Underground one. But it's not bad. It's similar to the KT5 from Hanta. It's a little soft at first, but it provides that secure lockdown to prevent you from rolling to a dangerous angle. Same with the heel and the forefoot. The outsole pattern, it kind of reminds me of the Jordan 32s. Initially, when I saw this chain link type of pattern, I was getting chills and concerns and sweaty palms, because Jordan 31 had a pattern similar to this. They said it was inspired by the suction cup soles of iguanas or geckos or whatnot, but it didn't work. It was slipping all over the place. But they did make some upgrade with the 32s, and this seems like if they continue to go on that path, this would have been an upgrade of the 32 outsole. And the rubber they used is crazy soft and mushy. They've been doing this for a long time. They skipped using this type of rubber. First of all, they had a really soft rubber used in the TP97, the Tony Parker's final signature from Peak. It was super soft. So even though the grooves were not crazy deep, the softness actually helped in terms of the traction. And they did not have that in the Underground one or the Flash one. They were a little bit more of a rigid rubber, and they had a very plain herringbone traction on one side, and on the inner side, the medial side, they had this brain type of pattern, which did not really work. They were a little slippy, and they were a little bit more sensitive to dust. And the funny thing is that the different material they used here, it felt a little bit slippery as well. And these dividing lines also, they provide, they kind of eat up or negate the level of stability or traction that you should get if they were all a uniform material that was used. And also the grooves actually get thinner because they need to combine the two different materials. So this crucial pivot point was a little bit more slippery than the rest, so that was unfortunate. So this is a good upgrade in terms of the outsole pattern and the material used for the rubber. And also another thing you would recognize is that you can see the carbon plate clearly and only taking up minimal space. So that helps tremendously in terms of cushioning, eliminating the cushioning obstruction. Because what they did with the Peak Underground, the Flash one, and even the Tony Parker signatures, which had the Tai Chi cushioning, they felt that because the Tai Chi is too soft, they needed to provide some level of stability by having a plastic plate right at the bottom of your foot before it actually comes into contact with the Tai Chi midsole foam. That's just stupid. That is ridiculous. I guess some people like it. I did not. You can do that for your heel, but you can't do that for your forefoot, where you actually feel the need for the cushion to cradle and form to the little pivot points of the ball of your foot or your toes as you're moving, around in different movements to play basketball. You're not running forward. So that was a little baffling. And finally, they've heard my complaints maybe. They eliminated that and added the carbon plate on the outsole. as you can see, it's almost translucent from the outsole itself. It's right there inside the outsole. It doesn't hinder the cushioning. It doesn't eat up or absorb the amazing cushioning that's supposed to be provided by the Tai Chi foam. So it's right there underneath your foot, so it's good. The plate itself, they could have just put it all the way, but they decided to just put it in the midfoot just to provide that the support to prevent the shoe from being twisted or being deformed, to provide that stability. Yeah, and this little thing here, I was wondering, people were wondering why is that? It's not like they put a zoom mirror in there, but they did put a new type of cushioning. Peak always seems to experiment with different kinds of cushioning. They come up with new names and new materials all the time. They seem to kind of stop, then reach the apex, and they did not need to dig further. They've had their own signature cushioning foam that everybody hailed as the new best thing, rivaling the amazing foam cushioning that's provided out there, like Boost or React and whatnot, or even ZoomX. That was used in the Peak Tai Chi runners, and this is really soft, and they continue to use that. They continue to work with that in terms of the density, the amount that's used. What they did was they clearly have a heel to toe drop, and they have a significant amount of Tai Chi on the heel. On the forefoot, you can see the Tai Chi foam spreads all the way to the forefoot, but of course it gets a little bit lower, and they've added a whole new material here where it matters the most to provide a different kind of sensation, a different type of cushioning that reacts to the movement of your forefoot instead of the heel where you're just clunkily landing or stepping forward. So it's supposed to be something, it should be something that caters to the needs of forefoot shock absorption and comfort. It's called the, they gotta come up with new names. They call it the P-Soon. Yeah, I wish they came up with a new name. They did not explain. I can't find the detailed explanations of what the chemical mix-up, what the chemical compound is about, and what it's supposed to provide. But it feels good. It feels like a clear heel-toe drop, and at the same time, it doesn't provide you with that level of inadequacy in terms of having the same cushioning midsole throughout. Just because you make the heel thicker than the forefoot doesn't mean you have a uniform level of cushioning or a uniform smooth ride to the front, from back to front. But with this change, it feels like there's no disturbance in terms of that ride, and also when you're on your toes, you do feel the cushioning working. I gotta give it up for Peak. Good job. Good of them to try and experiment, but please come up with a new team for your marketing department, because we were already laughing our heads up when you used this name for this particular mechanism called the P-Hold, and now it's called P-Soon. I guess the next one will be called P-Done, or I don't know. They keep making these little mistakes, like, let's just go with one name, Underground or Flash. This is Zion, not Williams. I mean, Williamson maybe, but not Williams. And also, sometimes it's probably not the official Peak website, but sometimes when I see articles or blogs or newsletters and whatnot, sometimes they say Louis Williams. The price is decent. Here in Korea, I could get it for slightly over $100, but I saw some American sites where they were selling it for a lot more expensive, close to $200. So, yeah, I hope you guys get a good discount soon. The official price tag in the Chinese site seemed to say close to 700 yuan, which is like, it was like 699 yen or something, which is around close to $100. Anyway, good job, Peak. Yeah, I look forward to more from you guys. Oh, and the fit. The fit, you could go true to size, but if you're one of those guys who wear those the Kyrie 1, 2, 3, 4s true to size, and it fits you just fine, then you probably want to go down half a size if you have a really narrow foot. For ordinary Joes, average Joes like me, who feel like the Kyrie 1, 2, 3, 4s and Many of the Kobe models, like Kobe 4.5, you feel they were a little bit narrow and you had to go up a half a size, you can go true to size with this one. There is no crazy vacuum or excess space on top of the toe box, but it's not exactly the most form-fitting shoe out there. It's not crazy wide, but it does not, chafe into your pinky toes. But it feels like it's close to doing that. But it fits okay.